Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today I'm going on another travel adventure and I'm headed back to Charleston, so come tag along with me while I fly in main cabin today. As you guys can see, I'm in Atlanta. It's been a minute since I've flown through Atlanta. I think it was like this summer was last time. We've been going through like Detroit and New York, but honestly, I feel like when I'm going to Charleston, I feel like this is just so much better of a connection. One, the planes are bigger. Two, they're just so much closer. It's not a long flight from Atlanta to Charleston, but once I settle in and get over to my next gate, I will tell you guys all about the shittiest flight I've ever had in my entire life, because it was.
We ask that you keep a close watch of your baggage and carry-on items.
We have made it to our gate, and we got 2 hours to burn. So I'm probably just gonna sit here and continue to scroll my phone, but when I get back to the hotel, I will tell you guys all the tea from this first flight, because I really would like to know if it's just me or like maybe, I don't know. Here's my sport. Not too shabby. Hopefully it'll be better than the last flight. It's a quick flight from here to Charleston, so no complaints, but hopefully the hotel has a room ready for me, so we'll see. Also, the sun's actually starting to come up, so we'll actually get to see something on this flight. Woohoo! We have made it, and now it's time to see if our luggage is there. It never is. Shocker. Luggage is not here yet. But yeah, now we wait for that, and then we gotta go get our rental car. We are headed over to the rental car garage, which is the second garage, to go pick up our rental car. And I have to say the paperwork part was pretty easy, straightforward. I rent cars a lot, and sometimes they make it more complicated than it needs to be, but they were really nice and really fast. All right, just gonna keep walking. Walking. She says like about a 5-minute walk, so we'll see what kind of car I get. I'm sure nothing spectacular. That's okay. It's just me this time. The second flight was not that bad. Honestly, it was quick. It was 45 minutes. And I was in an exit row. I didn't realize I was in an exit row until I got there. But I had leg room for miles. And honestly, it was good. It was short. It was quick. That's how I like it. Got to my destination. It is 67 degrees outside. It is gorgeous. And yeah, let's go see what kind of car we got. Alright, so we have picked up the rental car and now we're waiting to get out of the parking garage. We got a Chevy Malibu because the only other choice was a Toyota, and honestly I have not been digging the Toyotas, so we went with Chevy Malibu. And you know what, she's got heated seats and Apple CarPlay, and that's really all a girl needs. So yeah, next up we're gonna go to the office and go pick up my stuff and then call the hotel and hopefully see if they have a room for me. Update, I called the hotel and the girl was like hella rude and basically told me that she can't guarantee any rooms will be available until 3 o'clock. And I was like, you don't have like a single room, like one room. I was like, I'm a diamond member. I just did a red eye. I would love to be able to like close my eyes before 5 p.m. And so I gave her my confirmation number, and then she's like, well, maybe we could do 1 o'clock. So it is, at that time, it was like 10:30, 10 o'clock, somewhere around there. So I was like, all right, well, what am I going to do for 3 hours? So I was like, well, I guess I could go to Target. I'm not going to buy anything that needs to be refrigerated because I don't know what time I'm going to get my hotel room. It's weird. It's funny too because most of the time when I get there like super late at night, or later in the day. I don't think I've ever gotten here this early. So I went to one Target that was over in downtown Charleston off King Street, and there was absolutely like no parking, and I was like, I'm not doing this. I do not have the mental capacity to do that. So I am now over in Mount Pleasant, and I'm gonna go walk around this Target. Probably get shit I don't need. But yeah, so that is what I'm gonna do. And then maybe once I get done with this Target, if I still have time, there's like a little beachy pier thing that we found last time we were here, and I'm thinking maybe I'll go over there and go walk around. I need to tell you guys about the first flight. So I didn't really want to talk about it when I was in the airport because I feel like it just made me so upset that I wasn't going to be able to control my emotions in a public space. Not only that, but I just wanted a little bit of time to reflect on it, just to make sure that I wasn't being like overly anxious about the whole situation. So the flight in and of itself was fine. No turbulence, like smooth flight. I love red eyes in the sense that I get typically to my destination at a decent hour, especially when I'm going from like West Coast to East Coast. So I do appreciate that. So that part was fine. And I was hoping I was gonna get to sleep on the flight. I had all the intentions in the world to sleep on the flight. I'm gonna take my hair out too while I talk. That didn't happen. And so the weirdness started during boarding. So this was like my first main cabin flight, and probably this year, because I usually at the very least will upgrade to Comfort Plus, but the only Comfort Plus tickets that they had were all like middle seats when I booked this flight. So I'm not about to like upgrade my seat for extra leg room just to sit in a middle seat. Like, I'm short enough that I can sit in main cabin and not have any issues. So I was like, it's fine. I had a window seat, so I knew I was gonna have like my little personal space. I like the window just because I feel like when I'm traveling alone, I have that space. I don't typically have to get up to go to the bathroom during flights, so it's really not that big of a deal. The only time I think I ever really get up to go to the bathroom is when I fly first class, because I drink a lot when I'm in first class, and drinking equals bathroom time. So anywho, so I sit down, I get my seat, I get all my stuff like prepped, and because I like to have my stuff ready, so that way like when I want to access it, I don't have any issues getting into my bag, because that space is tight. So everything's all set up. I'm just, I had my earbuds in, and I was just like watching some TikToks while I waited for the plane to board, because there wasn't really anything to film outside, because it was dark outside. And so this guy comes over, he looks at our row, and he's like, oh, okay, so like this is where I'm at. He was a very, very big man. Now, my husband is on the larger side, but he was bigger than my husband, and so much so that he was, I don't even think he could wear a seatbelt. And this is like no shame to anybody who's larger, like you should not feel ashamed to fly. No hate towards that part of it. So, and I get it, sometimes in those tight quarters we have to sit next to each other, like I get it. So I was like mentally preparing myself for, just gonna be a little bit more of a squish flight, whatever. And so then he starts talking to me, which is fine. Again, like we're in close quarters. Sometimes it kind of makes things a little less awkward if you share a few words with your neighbor who's a stranger. So he asked me, so it was weird because the questions that he asked me. So he was like, oh, are those Bluetooth? And I was like, yes. But I have like corded headphones, because if you know anything about Delta, you have to like plug in. And I was like, yeah, they don't typically have Bluetooth on this plane. There's only a few planes that they fly that have Bluetooth, and that's usually only in the first class cabin. I was like, so you gotta plug in with a cord. And he's like, oh, well, if you want, I have my iPad and headphones, so you're welcome to use it. I have a lot of movies on there if you get bored. He's like, I'm gonna sleep anyway. So I was like, oh, thank you, no thank you. Just kind of kept it pleasant. And he's like, oh, so you fly a lot? And I was like, yeah, I fly like every week to 2 weeks, I'm usually flying. And he's like, oh, like, why do you fly so much? And I was like, for work. And he's like, oh, what do you do? And I was like, I'm an organ procurement coordinator. And then he makes the stupid joke that everybody always makes, which is like, oh, so you're gonna like take my organs. I should like watch out. And I was like, nobody, that's not how it works. So anyways, so it kind of got off to like a really weird, awkward start. And I was like, okay, whatever. And so fast forward, we take off. Oh wait, no, I missed the best part. So they're continuing to load the plane. Come to find out, he's in the wrong seat. He actually was supposed to be in the row ahead of me, which I thought was really weird. And then when the lady who came to sit next to him, she was an older black lady who was wearing a mask. He didn't say shit to her. He only talked to me, which was weird. Again, like, if you're in a middle seat and you're going to talk to people, why don't you talk to people on both sides of you? So when the one person that was supposed to be in the seat next to me, I was like, oh, okay, so this might actually get good for me. Like, maybe this person will be a little less awkward. And so they decided, because it was going to be such a hassle for him to get up because he was so big, that they were just going to swap seats and he'll just sit in the other row. And I didn't really think anything of it at the time, but as the flight continued, we took off. That part was fine. He clearly was trying to go to sleep, which I get. Like, it's a red eye. Most people try to sleep, or they try to do things, kind of quietly. And so then he starts just, like, encroaching in on my space. Like, when I say encroach, I mean I was sitting like this, tucked in to the window as tight as I could get. Like, literally as tight as I could get. And his elbow, like, he just kept spreading out with his elbows, which, whatever, things happen when people are trying to sleep. But then it started to get weirder. Then he started to, like, push his legs towards mine, and I was just getting really uncomfortable. So I would, like, purposefully, like, readjust myself and, like, my lower body so that my legs, like, we can't help that our thighs were touching just because, like, he spilled over in the seat, like, whatever. But, like, the other parts of your legs shouldn't be touching your neighbor unless you're in a committed relationship with that person or you're just having fun, like, whatever. And so then, like, his other legs would just constantly, like, come over and, like, touch my legs. It didn't matter how many times I moved my leg over, he would move his leg over. And, like, then he would, like, do, like, this really weird, slow, like, up and down motion with his leg, and I was getting really uncomfortable. Thank God the flight was only 3.5 hours, but this literally went on for 2.5 hours of the flight. And it just made me feel so uncomfortable. There was literally nothing I could do about it because I was in a window seat. Sure, maybe I could have said something to the flight attendant, but that would have meant I would have had to bring attention to myself. I would have had to bring attention to the situation. And it just seemed like a lot, and I just felt really trapped. And I don't know what I would do in the future about it. I don't even know if I'm going to complain about it, because it's not like it was Delta's fault. But just having the passenger next, it just really eked me out, given all of the previous things leading up to that situation. It just left me really skeezed. So that was the first flight. And then when I got to Atlanta, I kind of, like, went to the bathroom and just, like, had a good cry in the bathroom stall, because I had to keep myself contained for that entire flight. And I needed a moment to gather my thoughts, because I was tired, I was exhausted, and again, I just felt like somebody was in my personal space, whether it was a man or a woman. I don't really care. You were in my personal space, and no matter what I did, you kept coming into that space. He would, like, kind of stand up his body a little bit, and then he would, like, sit back down, and every time he would sit back down, he would sit on my leg. And it just got to a point where I was just getting progressively more frustrated as the flight went on. But yeah, so that was my first flight. It definitely kind of drove me a little bit crazy. And yeah, so wasn't really great. And then second flight was really good. No issues there. We were up, we were down, 45 minutes, easy peasy flight. No problem. I got my rental car, no problem, as you guys saw. The only issue we had was just trying to wait for this room. But we did get checked in and everything in the room around like 3:30, 4 o'clock. And now I'm just gonna go take a nap because I'm exhausted. So I hope you guys enjoyed tagging along with me on another cross-country adventure. I will see you guys in the next one. Make sure you guys like this video, hit that subscribe button, and ring the notification bell. We are almost to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm so thankful and so excited. Probably by the time this video comes out, we will probably be at 1,000, which is insane. So thank you guys for that, and I will come and get you guys for the next adventure. Bye.